Fire Escape Engineers Inspector Summary Video. We're here at well, we're here in College Ave in 18 College in New Brunswick. Here we are. We've got a fire escape here that had an incident. Someone had fallen. The fire escape had given way on this side. We'll talk about that last. Fire escape, in order to pass a inspection in New Jersey, the code is very specific. Load tested or other satisfactory means to the official that the fire escape has been refurbished. So what that means here is that you can spot repair this fire escape, and then they want a full load test to verify that the fire escape is ready for use. If you don't want to spot repair it and you refurbish it 100% in lieu of a load test, you can refurbish 100% of the fire escape, and the load test is then not required. Again, at the decision of the city official. We're looking at evidence on this fire escape, and we'll talk about the broken rail last, but we're looking at evidence, and it looks like they changed some bolts on this fire escape in the past 15 to 25 years. They changed the bolts, so you got new hex heads. We're looking down now at the fire escape at the very top. And what we've got is, a welded connection bracket there. We got a frame that's all welded. We got rails that are all welded. All welded railings that are showing evidence of rusting and corrosion. We've got a through bolt there that needs to be, that we need to do a pull test or a load test on that, or duplicate the connection to avoid the need for either. Going down the stairs, we got evidence that it's all welded. As you can see, no angle clips, but it's an all welded stringer. Treads are all bolted. Okay. We got evidence that rust is getting in behind the clips of all the treads. So all these bolts need to be changed out, and you need to seal it with 50-year silicone from above. Otherwise, what happens is you can't load test this particular treads, even though the bolts are fairly new, probably 15 to 25 years old, the hex head bolts. But let's get to the support. All original rivets. No evidence of maintenance on these. This is a 50 to 75-year-old connections. So these cannot be load tested unless they're refurbished or replaced. The connections into the building on both these brackets is a through bolt, and that needs to be verified prior to load testing. To avoid the load test, you can just duplicate that connection with another epoxy bolt into the building, and you can avoid the load test there. Now, with that being said, we got the last piece. And again, both brackets, both supports on the top are the same scenario. Everything needs to be refurbished to avoid the load test, or you need to clean out every connection, refurbish or reinforce any rivets, and then load test. Because if you spot repair, you still got to do the load test. If you refurbish, you can avoid the load test. Now, here's the biggest issue. Looks like there was damage done by some severe hit. A severe hit on the railing system that shook the entire platform at the very bottom. And that damage is not slight. That damage, to me, looks like they said 2 years ago there was a telephone company that came in and installed these telephone poles, and they were back here working. There's also been some dumpsters that they've put here during certain times in the summer, and the dumpster may or may not have had that damage done from the forklifts of the truck. The ladder is bent down here, so it looks like there was damage to the ladder of some kind. So and this is severe trauma, because to bend steel that much, you've got some issues. You've got to bend back. See this railing, even before this piece fell, you've got damage here, and you also got damage up there that's basically a smash that pulled it away from the building. So something occurred here that basically smashed, and to me it's got to be something with a bucket truck, something with a boom. There could have been then some work on the roof line or something. Somebody hit into the fire escape and never made mention. We also got severe damage on the wall there. Look, missing brick. And there's a severe crack that goes back to that corner, again indicating that there was a smash from the from the right side, and another crack right there. So those are additional issues indicating that there was damage. Now let's get over here to this part right here. Somebody was leaning, speaking with the maintenance and the president of the association here. He mentions that he leans on this rail all the time, And what occurred here is that at that point, and because of the bend, see this big bend? That's an unnatural bend that didn't occur because of the rail pulling away. The rail that pulled away let go there and was not the main reason why there's a big huge bend on this. Looks like somebody smashed into this and caused the joint to weaken. This is a welded joint, so there's the indication that water was getting into the joint and that the welds were being eaten from the inside out. And there's the corner right there. And there's the welded corner right there. So a lot of these welds are starting to show evidence that water's getting in there. And so that's what occurred here. That weld was basically a weakened weld from a damage that happened in the past 15 plus years. And then it just pulled away, and when it pulled away, it just broke in all the various areas. But again, you can see there's the part that broke away from the weld. There's the part at the bottom. Let me see how this is all looking. So that's the back post that broke away. There's the bottom of the post going all the way to the top of the post. Then that post is the top rail is what tied into that corner. So again, I see severe damage to the ladder, to the rails, severe damage in that corner. So this is an accident that occurred. It was a hit and run of some kind that basically weakened this structure. And during proper inspections, it might have been picked up. But minimally, the inspection process would have picked up that, you know, the original hardware is still here. We had some rust and other connections unrelated to the situation, which is just general maintenance and refurbishment prior to a load test on this fire escape. But on this side, you can definitely see severe damage to the rail. Look at that. That's a big bend that didn't have anything to do with the railing breaking away, or if it did, it was part of the again, further investigation is going to need to be done, whether or not she was in the back, on the front, what part gave way, and how did she fall down. That's approximately 15 feet to the ground. So fire escape does need a full paint job, and again, all original hardware, areas of rust in certain areas, but no life safety issues that I can see anywhere. I mean, I see a requirement of repair prior to load testing this, but I don't see any life safety issues on the fire escape itself right at the moment. But had this been an inspection a year or two ago or three, these bends would have been identified, primarily that bend there. You know, that's a huge bend that says something happened. What it is, nobody will know, or nobody will fess up to, but you can clearly see you can't bend that kind of steel without, you know, severe force trauma. So again, any questions? This is Fire Escape Engineer Inspector Manessis, Fire Escape Engineers, 800-649-3333, 800-649-3333.